mowed the yard yesterday. My black walnut is looking pretty decent. I don't know what that little tree is that's growing next to it. This black walnut over here is the one that started late. There's a number of dead branches on it. I don't know if it's doing so well. It was covered in a lot of vines, so it's possible it's starting to get crowded out, and maybe it'll recover. It's kind of my hope. This one, by the way, I decided not to cut the vines. I want to see what the vines are. I'm suspecting that they are a native honeysuckle, trumpet vine. Okay, whatever. Honeysuckle. Sorry, trumpet vine. My words. Where are my words? There's my dog. Just showing you how ferocious she is. There's a lot of traffic out there today. You can hear the freeway. What I like is that you can see the tree line nice and dark these days. It's starting to thicken out here quite a bit. It's another tree that was covered in vines earlier. Still got some vines on it. I can see towards the top. I'm not severing everything. Some of these are very native. These little trees that you see around here, these are the prickly ash trees. They're coming in pretty decent, actually. It's nice to sort of see it like thicken right around here. Of course, there's the Holocaust that occurred with the Entergy people, but even that's starting to recover some. Yeah, so these trees, you can kind of see the thorns on them and such. They're also commonly referred to as the devil's walking stick. Apparently produce little tiny flowers. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to try to keep fostering these. They're host plant to the giant swallowtail. Of course, Entergy hit this one. Actually, it wasn't really Entergy. It was, Yelcott or whatever that trimmed the trees for them. Where's the dog? Well, it apparently was not enough rain to get above the rocks, so the riverbed is underneath the rocks. And there's my future bridge right here. Unfortunately, it's right through these trees, so we're gonna consider that before we build it. I wouldn't mind just coming off the trees being very, very close to it and going across to that bridge. I did a lot of cutting of vines this year through here. And I don't know what some of these things are. Like, I see this leaf here, for instance. I don't know what this is. It's probably like the witch hazel or hazelnut or whatever, but I've just never taken the time to look at their leaves. I've been keeping this trim over here just so I can do these walks along the river or stream or whatever, but here I'll peer down there for you, and you can see the glory of a appearance of a dry riverbed, even though we know there's a river under there, a stream. Here's the technical definition that defines the difference between a river and a stream. Should look that up. Or a creek. I looked up pond once, and there's actually no definition no distinct definition that separates pond and lake. Oh, look at that. That guy climbed up this really fast. I had nothing on this tree a short time ago. Well, that makes me wonder if that's native now. This is very aggressive. I believe that's invasive. And I cut through a lot of it in this area. I didn't treat it. I thought it was native. I believed it to be greenbrier, but now that, or possibly even greenbrier or sawtooth briar. But the level of growth on that was shocking. I mean, that was cut to the ground, so we're probably talking about, 10 feet of growth on that. See, this is always just so funny to me. Because you can see there's no stream up, down further, and you'd think it was dried up. But there's still a good amount of water running through this area. And yet, it was dry. Appears to be a phlox. I can see a lot of this in here. That's rose. Old multifloral rose, no less. A lot of poison ivy in there as well. Oh, this guy actually, this little guy had a blossom the other day, but looks like it's gone. Afa. She has attention span issues. So these have interesting little flower clusters, and of course there's some sort of clover growing through it. And poison ivy. And I still don't know what this guy is. It's a very stickly looking bush kind of thing not long ago, but I didn't know what it was, so I decided to keep it. Haven't been back to the wood chipper for a little while. There's a little flower that seems to pop up every once in a while in different locations here. Overall looking pretty good. I saw a flower over here the other day. Hang on a second. The dog is drifting off. Damn it. Princess Dipshit got... Come here! God. God, Jesus. Oh, dogs. I'm beside myself sometimes. Anyway, like I was saying, there's a yellow flower I saw through here the other day. Caught my interest. There's one. Because the flower, when it was opened, actually looked like dandelion. But you can see it's more of a grass type flower. There's another one here. It's a lot easier to see. The grass-like leaves on it. And yeah, if you looked at my forum, you saw my shopping list. Yeah, there's a handful of them. You can see a couple more over here. Be interesting to see if they open up. I saw one open. Like I said, it looked like a dandelion. Lots of little things, like all these little flowers through here coming up. These are probably some sort of weed or something. Of course, the definition of a weed is quite nebulous as well. Technically, I suppose a weed is something that simply isn't growing where you want it to. These are interesting because they just barely started to bud. I would have thought these were the devil's walking stick as well, but they're like on a, they don't have thorns, and they're clearly budding out a little bit later. I intentionally avoided cutting down all these little saplings, which I'm happy about. I mean, not that this is a very spectacular tree or anything like that. This is a, well, actually, this might be a maple. I mean, it has a maple-like leaf to it, but of course, so does the gum trees. But that actually looks a lot more maple-like than the gum trees normally look. Not going to go for too big of a walk. This is one of my favorite little secret spots. Look at the clarity of that water. Isn't that amazing? I can see the fish down there racing around. They don't like me standing above them like this. Big old monkey predator. Oh, something's been digging here too. Never know what it could be. We won't go for too much of a walk. I gotta watch the dog. Oh, look at that. It looks like last year's cocoon. There are no shortage of cocoons when you really look around. Some of them apparently didn't make it. Yeah, see, this is what I was saying. You know, this looks like a maple leaf to me, but it's gum tree. Got a nice little tiny oak growing in there. And something else. And something else still. Which looks like it's toppling. Huh. It's a branch off of that big tree up there. It just probably needs to be cut. Yeah, still so much work to do. I know you probably wanted me to take a walk through the woods. I haven't been cutting anything. There's actually quite a few flowers, in here. But then there's a lot of stuff I don't want growing. Consumed with those vines I saw. I suppose those actually could be, what's that called, rattan vine? That's probably what they are. Just shocked at the growth rate. You have to work pretty hard to keep on top of all this. It's a big property, that I just walked this little area. Probably front to back, didn't even get to the, what do you think? Yeah, we didn't even cross half of a 40-acre spread from there to there. That may be about halfway across. It's a lot of ground to cover. I see something up there growing flowers, but I fear that those flowers are, well, they're probably rose, but they could be Japanese honeysuckle. They have to do a big burn in this place. But it is still looking very pretty. This is one of my favorite areas right there. I worked hard on that last year. And just the way that the trees now stand out, separated from the undergrowth. It's much better. I don't know what this tree is that's growing up next to this black walnut. I mean, I'd almost be tempted to remove it, but I feel like I could use more trees in this field. I'm not a really big grass person. I'm hoping in summertime these walnuts will hopefully fill out a hell of a lot more. One of my favorite trees is that guy right there. It's a big old oak sitting up there. Now, I'll point out something that I shouldn't point out, but I can see it from here, that there's a cluster of trees like right in here. And the kind of grayish looking ones are, I believe, Chinese tree of heaven, which is also what I believe this tree is right here. And there's also one right next to that black walnut. And see that gray one right in there? Pretty sure that's tree of heaven. And some of the small ones in there. Overall, I don't see that many, not spread out in the woods, just locally here in the main field, it seems like. Might thin those up there. These here, I'm not sure I'll do too much about, only because I would like to plant other trees before I remove these. The one next to that black walnut there, I'll probably remove sooner than later. To me, there's almost no mistaking that those are tree of heaven. But yeah, there might be something else in there as well. Looks dead though. See this? I saw this earlier. It's just, and this one I can almost tell you for certain this is tree of heaven. For one thing, it's the bark. You know, this it's a very soft wood. The bark, the leaves, almost everything about it screams to me it's tree of heaven. And yeah, those are the rocks I pulled out of the ground when I trenched this, and you can see there's still no shortage of rocks. We need to run the electricity to the well, and it'll actually run to the service pole there. Those cross bracing will be removed eventually. I just wanted the ground to stabilize, become more compacted and compressed. So they'll probably be there for a couple of years, and then that'll be gone. We'll drop down underground and bring it up to the wall here in the house. And there's the new addition, the bathroom. Not quite done yet. It's closed in mostly. I'll show you if you're curious enough. I was told I needed to wait for the big reveal, but here's the space. I did wire in one circuit of electricity, so there we have it. My workshop area. What I did was the service panel is going to be right over here, so I hooked up this circuit right here, and I have it connected to an extension cord going out to the service panel. So yeah, it's a little bit. There's not a lot running on it. These are LED lights. The big thing running on it is a dehumidifier, and it's just because I keep the windows open a lot during the daytime. Don't look at all the collection of garbage, but you'll see like hot water heater, toilet. Oh, that's a sink, toilet, ceiling fans, shower, mini split unit over here, mailbox, stereo and speakers, bathroom door, and you can see the little sketch. That's my plan right there, hanging up there. And here, I'll pause for a sec. I'll show you the bathroom. All right, so what I did was I plugged in a light. I hooked in a light in here so I could see it. This is a 10 by 16 bathroom. It's gonna have like a, well, let's see here. Let's do it from this way. So that's the drain for the shower. It's got a 5-foot shower. That right there is it's gonna have like a false wall here. That's actually the drain for the kitchen sink. So it'll go through the wall and dump there. And then that's the toilet. This is for the vanity and the washer dryer. Washer and dryer will be here, vanity here, toilet, shower. There'll be a hot water heater in a small little closet right here. So this is actually the back side of the closet, and the front side will be here, and the door will swing towards it, and the access panel will be this way. I'll probably have a pantry kind of thing here for towels and such, and then this is my closet right there. So everything's all in one. Have a nice door, and if you're curious, that's the plan right there. But enough of that. This is the here. There you go. That's what it looks like currently. Got a nice roof on it, most except for the new addition. Finally have power, and we're getting closer. All right, that's it for now. Talk to you later.